First off, I want to congratulate the Dallas Cowboys for the way they absolutely obliterated the Buffalo Bills yesterday, 44-7. And this was a vintage performance by the Cowboys against the Bills. It was Super Bowl 27 and 28 all over again when it came to our overall domination of that team. I don't know, for some reason it's I've always seen that the Bills, no matter what, have always been a team that whose number we've always had. And this was vintage 27 and 28 performance. Because in Super Bowl 27, we just clobbered them. Whatever word you want to use, just beat them to the ground, 52-17. And then the year afterwards, we beat them 30-13 in a comeback victory after halftime. When we decided to hand the ball to Emmett Moore, in the second half. So, and also I just want to look up the stat line as well. Tony Romo, Romo was extremely efficient in this game. So, I'm not on the Romo bandwagon or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. The guy could definitely throw, but there are times, as we all know, he's like he's a roller coaster quarterback, very up and down. So, but in this game, of course, he was very efficient, firing all cylinders. 23 of 26 for 270 yards, 3 touchdowns. To Ryan Fitzpatrick's 20 of 31 for 146 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. It was DeMarco Murray, who I believe is now going to be the starting running back pretty soon. The way he's playing, he had 20 carries for 135 yards, 1 touchdown, 6.8 yards per carry. And Des Bryant led the way with 6 receptions for 74 yards and a touchdown. And so Ron Robinson, 3 receptions for 73 yards, 2 touchdowns. And also, as one of my fellow YouTube subscribers said, the Cowboys pulled a Quentin Tarantino and killed the Bills 44-7. So and just to go back on that, the Bills, as far as those four Super Bowl trips, the games against the Cowboys were the last 2 games, against Dallas were the games where they got beat the worst. The first 2 Super Bowls, the first one against the Giants, they only lose by a point. And also the kicker, Scott Norwood kicked wide right. The second game against the Redskins, the second Super Bowl where they played the Redskins, as far as where they got beat, it was worse than the first one. But when it came to 27 and 28, going up against the Cowboys, they got the thrashing of a lifetime, and the Bills never recovered after that. As a franchise, they can never recover after that. Even though we weren't the same ourselves after we won those Super Bowls, but still, I think Buffalo suffered a much worse effect as a whole, I believe. So this score is very similar to those 2 scores. As far as just the way we pounded them into the ground. And the only highlight for the Bills throughout the whole game was when David Nelson scored that touchdown and ran over and gave the ball to his girlfriend, who happens to be one of our cheerleaders. You know what I'm saying? So, I have nothing else to say about that, but but I'm sure I know it was a very touchy situation, to say the least, because it's pretty rough to be dating and then and be on opposite teams, whether you're fans of 2 different teams, and what's worse is that you're both employed, both part of the NFL, and it's worse, especially as a player, and you play for one team, and your girlfriend happens to work not just I mean, not so much to be a fan of, but happens to work for another team, and not only that, but she happens to work for the very same team you're gonna play against the upcoming week. So that's very touching, to say the least. And of course, as far as our defense, we fired on. We're consistent in that department as well. DeMarcus Ware, having another solid, another strong performance like he's always had. I believe he's the anchor of our defense. He's the catalyst, the leader of our defense, as far as I see. So yeah, definitely. So all I have to say is just Dallas, just keep it up. And of course, we have a very crucial game coming up against the Redskins, over here at FedEx Field. So, just keep the ball rolling. You know what I'm saying? So, and this is definitely a great, these last two wins were definitely great rebound wins following that humiliating game against the Eagles in Philly. And so, here it is. As far as defense, Allen Ball had 3 tackles. DeMarcus Ware had 2, so on and so forth. Terrence Newman caught 2 very key interceptions, and when Terrence Newman is healthy, he's definitely still very valuable. He's still very dangerous. So just go ahead, Cowboys. Anyway, I'm out.